Hey everyone, welcome back to another video, and I want to say that Blizzard tells me they don't fucking know what's happening in the Shadow War. Well, then they told me, hey, why don't you go ask the community or the players, right? I mean, the thing is, what I was asking is about the attributes on the Immortal for the clan leader in the Shadow War. I mean, if they don't know that, who the fuck will know? I mean, it is ludicrous, and here it is. 3 weeks ago, we lost to this botter, this cheater MIC clan, right? Which Orbit, the leader, is a cheater, is a botter, and everything else. Basically, 20 years ago, let's say bots in Diablo 2, and I used them, so I know, 20 years ago. So, anyways, in 20 years ago, when you bot, you level up at the same time you find items, right? Well, I'm assuming it's probably way better now because that was 20 years ago. I mean, this is 20 years later. I mean, imagine the phone 20 years ago compared with the phones available today. So there's no way that the bots have gone worse. But anyways, so, the leader of that clan, which is Cheater, bought his way to level 240, which was able to equip the 240 items in Hell 5. Where I wasn't, because I had played legitimately, right? And so did my clan. So we were under 240. So I was thinking, I decided to ask Blizzard. And, Blizzard, first off, he deleted the freaking initial reply, which made no sense, right? I mean, so there was a reply that went right here. But they deleted it because they didn't want to answer, right? I mean, so they replied me 1 week later. And this ticket thing, when I made it, it says you'll get a reply within 24 hours. So they waited an entire week, right? Instead of 24 hours, which literally is saying, hey, I don't want to answer this question. So, anyways, 3 weeks later, I guess, here's the game master. And, he was like saying, this information game masters do not have access to. Well, the thing is, if the game master and the developers don't have access to that information, who has access to that information? Apparently, what do you call it? The forums and Reddits, they have the information to how you program the game and what you implemented into the game, right? I mean, yeah, they have that. I mean, I'm not stupid. I think people are not stupid. But essentially speaking, this proves to me that, yes, the res, the level, and the gear all affects the Immortal leader's attribute, right? Giving them, making them stronger or whatnot, which is why they don't want to answer that question. Because literally they could have said, nah, it doesn't affect it. Don't worry about it, right? I mean, that was a simple answer, right? But no, they had this long explanation. First, it was this weird answer that didn't exist. That wasn't even part of my question. And then after, they're like, oh, why don't you ask Reddit? I'm like, what the hell, right? I mean, why am I gonna ask Reddit? Reddit don't know your programming. They're not the developers. But anyways, that proves to me that they don't want to answer. And the reason they don't want to answer because they know there's a cheating problem, right? I mean, you have bots, cheaters, whales, and all that stuff. All of this affects the Immortal status's attribute, right? So when you go into Shadow War, if you're facing against a cheater that basically bought to level 600 and you're still level 400, well, you're never going to win because, they bought 24 hours. And like I was saying, I used to bot. I know exactly how that fucking thing works because at the same time you're leveling, you're getting new items, which is getting your CR up because the bot doesn't pick up random items. You can set it to pick up, if the attribute is 50, 50, 50, right? Or, 120, 120, 120, then keep the item. If not, you sell the item. That's 20 years ago, right? I didn't use a bot today, but I'm pretty sure 20 years today, the bots are much more sophisticated than the new bots that were available 20 years ago. Like I was saying, imagine the robots 20 years ago or the computer 20 years ago. It doesn't get worse. But anyways, so Blizzard's like, I don't know. Well, it's not that I don't know. It's more like I don't want to tell you. So anyways, this is why this game is bullshit, because you're facing off in a competitive environment against cheater, right? And cheater clans, and they help them because it's based on the level, the res, the gear, and, most free-to-play will never win the Shadow War because of that, especially if they are cheaters. That's even worse, because if you're just a whale, that's one thing, right? I mean, being a whale means you're playing on easy mode, right? But now you're a cheater and a whale. You know, there's nothing to respect there, and that's why this game is bullshit.